Right, let's bring in Nick Freeman, motoring law solicitor, very high profile and successful motoring law solicitor, known as Mr. Loophole for successful cases with high profile clients in the past. Hi, Nick.
Hi, good evening to you.
So potholes are presumably they're starting to emerge on your job sheet now, are they?
Well, just to give this some perspective, there were 123,000 new potholes reported last year in Scotland. And in the UK, last year, there were 1 million potholes reported. 92% of all drivers have driven over one. And out of that 92%, 22% have had their vehicles damaged. So I think that illustrates how severe the problem is. I was recently in Skye and it was stunning, but it was literally dodge the pothole, and I was staggered. And the problem, no one's mentioned this about dodging the potholes, but of course that can lead to a very serious accident because, people dodge potholes, they see them at the last minute, they hit another car, there can be very serious consequences, and they're likely to result in criminal charges. And yes, I was trying to dodge a pothole. Well, which is more important, dodging a pothole or dodging a car? And the probability is it wouldn't provide you with a defence. So it's not just the inconvenience. There's also the potential of very serious criminal consequences because people feel they're obligated to avoid them because they're so severe, and they obviously don't want to damage their vehicles. And when you've damaged your vehicle, you have to start a process to try and recover the damage, and it's not a straightforward process.
So just talk us through that. Have you got a claim if you go into a pothole and you damage your wheel or you damage your suspension? What next?
Well, the first thing you do is you make an immediate note. You stop. You get out your car, you have a look at what's caused it, take a photograph, take a few photographs, work out how severe it is, make a note of the time. I would then take the car into a garage and say, can you just pop it up, let me have a look underneath. What is the extent of the damage? You want a mechanic to cost it for you. You then contact the local authority, whoever is responsible for the maintenance of that road. And the local authority has a duty to maintain roads in a reasonable and responsible manner. And they have what's called a special defence under Section 58. Even if there's a pothole there, if they can demonstrate that they have not long before repaired the road, maintained it and inspected it, the fact that there's a new pothole will not be their problem. Okay, so it's not straightforward. And also there's a point. So what you do is you contact the council either there's normally an email address or you can do it by a customer care line. And sometimes the council will say, yep, fine, no problem. We'll have a look at it, and you may be very lucky and get a check for the amount that you've had. It depends from council to council. And obviously councils are hard strapped for cash at the moment. They often employ lawyers and they will resist it. And they might resist it on the basis that, well, we've done all we can and we've acted fairly and reasonably, but it's impossible at the moment on our limited budget. They, of course, owe a duty of care to motorists. So often there's a fight, but you may have a situation where it's entirely their fault, but they'll get your last vehicle's MOT and you might be claiming for a new tyre, and you might have a warning on the MOT, your tyre's just legal, but it's about to go. And they'll say, well, yeah, it is our fault, but actually there's no damage. Quantum doesn't exist in this case because you were going to have to replace your tyre. So there are a whole host of things you need to do. Many drivers now have tyre insurance, and with the roads in the parlour state that they are in, it actually is probably quite a good idea just to have tyre insurance, because that allows you, I think, up to 5 claims a year, and that doesn't affect no claims. You can, of course, claim on your own motor insurance, but that's probably ill-advised. One, because you've got an excess, and 2, because it will affect your premium. You can take a counsel to the small claims court, which does cost a small amount of money. And if they're resisting it, there's no guarantee of success. So it depends on the facts. So you need to gather the evidence, submit a claim. And if you are right and it's reasonable and they haven't maintained the road in the way they should, and different roads, A roads and B roads, are inspected at different times, they have a code of conduct that they have to comply with. and it varies from council to council.
Okay.
So there's no straightforward, there's nothing guaranteed, but collect all the evidence, get a quote, submit the claim,
Yeah.
and basically you make a decision how you want to deal with it. But I do really believe that tyre insurance is now something that people should consider
Right.
as a separate item, and also beware the dangerous driving.
Okay, that alone is really useful advice. Nick Freeman, we're going to have to leave it there, I'm afraid. But thank you very much indeed for that kind of news you can use, information that people, I'm sure, will take on board.